USAA knows dynamic duos can save the day, like superheroes and sidekicks or auto and home insurance. With USAA, you can bundle your auto and home and save up to 10%. Learn more and get a quote at usaa.com/bundle. Restrictions apply.
This episode is brought to you by the Toyota Grand Highlander. Life's journey brings constant change, filled with exciting surprises and grand challenges. And with its spaciousness, power, and style, the Toyota Grand Highlander is more than a vehicle. It's your partner in embracing all life throws at you. From the spacious adult-sized third row to seating for up to 8 passengers, the Toyota Grand Highlander is up for every grand challenge. Learn more at toyota.com/Grand Highlander. Toyota, let's go places.
First of all, me and Brian been friends for over 10 years, so that 6-year thing, he's a liar. Been a dispatcher for 5, so he's a liar.
This is the plaintiff, Humberto Sabogo. He says his good friend of 7 years won't pay him the balance of money she owes for a TV he sold her. It's like she's laughing in his face because she refuses to pay him. He's ready to go to war and get his money and is suing her here and now for the $200 he still owed. This is the defendant, Doris Cabrera. She says she and the plaintiff used to hang out together, and he told her not to worry about paying him the rest of the money for the TV. But now they don't hang out as much, and all of a sudden he's taking her to court for the money he told her she didn't have to pay him back. How is that fair? Once you give someone a gift, it's a gift, period. She's accused of failing a friend.
All parties, please raise your right hand.
What you are about to witness is real. The participants are not actors. They are actual litigants with a case pending in civil court. Both parties have agreed to drop their claims and have their cases settled here before Judge Marilyn Milian in our forum, the People's Court.
Be seated, come to order. Litigants have been sworn, Your Honor.
Thank you, Douglas. Humberto Saboal, you are suing Doris Cabrera for $200 that you say she still owes you for a TV that you sold to her and she refuses to repay. What's going on?
Back in July, we made an agreement where...
How do you two know each other?
Well, we met during... we used to work together at a company.
How long ago?
This was about 6 years ago.
Okay.
Right.
And were you friends?
We were friends, right.
Would you hang out together?
We hung out a few times, yes.
All right, so she bought a TV from you.
Right.
Okay, what kind of TV?
It was a 73-inch Mitsubishi 3D TV.
Okay.
Right.
And how much did you sell it to her for?
I sold it to her for, it was $400, and she paid me half up front, and the other half I sold.
And why were you selling it?
Because I had purchased another television.
What? How big was this one?
It was a 65-inch smart TV, so...
Okay.
I just, and she really wanted the television, so I sold it to her.
How did she even know you were selling it?
Because I told her I was going to sell my television.
Okay.
Right.
So she paid you $200,
right.
And then she was supposed to pay you the other $200.
Right.
When did she pay you the $200?
Around July 29th.
Okay, and then she was supposed to pay you the other $200 when?
The following week.
And what happened?
It's been a year.
Okay. So when the following week happened, what did you say to her?
I just asked her, is everything all right? And she said, she will have me. She's just going through some problems. So I kept waiting,
Yeah, you waited a long time. You waited a whole year.
Right.
And then what happened? She just kept giving you excuses?
She just kept telling me she's gonna have me month after month. I just kept waiting. At one point we got into a little argument and she told me she'd forget my money. And then
what's your version on this that you find so funny? What happened?
He's lying from the beginning. It wasn't even $400. It was $350. He's lying from the door.
But you also didn't pay him the $350,
No, you're absolutely right. But he told me, don't worry about it. No, I paid him the $200. This is what happened. First of all, me and Brian been friends for over 10 years. So that 6-year thing, he's a liar. Been a dispatcher for 5. So he's a liar. We've been best friends for
Maybe
about
he just doesn't remember. Best friends? Wait, you guys are best friends?
I consider him to be a best friend. I guess he didn't feel the same way.
Hold on.
I guess obviously not. Maybe he doesn't feel that way.
you know, by your own testimony, you owe the guy $150. So yeah, that'll do something to a friendship.
Yeah, but okay, this is what happened. He was selling the TV for $800 to one of his friends. So I said, oh, nice, I like the TV. Well, sell it to me. I'll take it from you. He's like, well, I'm not going to sell it to you for $800. I was like, well, I don't care. Just whatever, just give me a price. He told me $350.
Because I ain't going to pay you anyway.
No.
I'm just going to pay you $200 and then string you along. So it doesn't matter to me. Make it $5 million. So the TV's worth $800 to somebody else.
What the TV's
and
worth.
And he does you a favor and sells it to you for $400, and you still don't finish paying it.
Not $400.
And you still don't finish paying it.
Let me finish. So he sells me the TV for $350. The same day we spoke about it, I came, I brought him the $200. He brought the TV to me and everything. No problem. Okay, fine. I was going through some stuff where I was being sued for like $3,500. I didn't tell him like I was telling him to forget about his money.
Why were you being sued for $3,500?
It was my own personal...
A debt?
It was a debt that I had that I had to pay.
So you didn't pay that? Someone was accusing you of not paying back $3,500?
Yes.
Of course you didn't tell him. Go ahead.
All right, so I was venting to all my friends about it. Him too, you know, because again, like I thought he was one of my best friends. So again, I didn't tell him like, oh, I don't want to pay your money. When I told him that, he said, well, don't worry about it.
Were you supposed to pay him the next week?
No, not the next week. I told him I was going to pay him like 2 weeks later or something like that.
But it's been a year.
All right, fine. Well, I mean, let me finish. So,
well, I'm going to let you finish, but I'm still having to hear something that would be what we call in the law a defense.
As a friend, I thought he was telling me to don't worry about it. So I didn't worry about it. But then when he saw that, I guess because he felt like I wasn't coming around enough, I stopped coming around. I was going through some stuff. I mean, he told me don't worry about it, so I didn't worry about it. Then months later.
Hey, then months take it down a notch and do not yell at him.
Then months later.
No, and don't look in the sky when I'm talking to you. Go ahead.
Then months later, he hits me up on Instagram and he asks me for his money because he says that, oh, now you're dealing with a new producer. I see you getting your nails done.
What's about the producer?
He's my producer. He's been my producer for like 10 years.
Producer of what?
Of music.
Okay.
And
of what music?
Music music that I do. I record.
Are you a musician?
I rap and I sing.
Do you rap? Okay.
I rap and I sing.
Okay. And he's been your producer for how long?
About 10 years.
Okay.
So.
And what have you produced together?
I mean, he's done a few songs for me.
Okay.
A few.
And
maybe
then,
a little more than a few.
So he sees that you're working with somebody else and you're no longer friends, and what does he do?
The whole big everything was, I'm not coming uptown anymore. Why you don't come uptown anymore? Now I'm feeling some kind of way. And then now we're here. Now I'm being sued.
Oh,
yeah, go ahead. I want you to respond.
Yes, it is true. Yes, it is true.
No, stop talking now. It's his turn. I want you to respond.
I have all the proof of month after month of her telling me she's going to pay me.
Oh, let me see it. What are these, texts?
Yeah, from Facebook and Instagram.
Okay.
Saying I was going to give you the $150 from the $350 that I owe you, or from the $400? Which one is it?
Well, let's see what it is. Because according to you, he told you not to worry about it, and you have no idea until you got this lawsuit.
The only reason why he's asking for his money now is because I'm going to a different studio. That's the only reason why. Because you see me hanging out with other people and I'm not hanging out with you no more.
Okay, is there an off button on you?
Whatever, no.
Press the off button right now.
Welcome back to the People's Court. Harvey Levin here. So, simple question. Would you sue a really good friend of yours if that friend stiffed you for $150?
No, I don't.
Really?
Yeah.
But they show disrespect to you.
But it's only $150.
That's true. What do you say?
I would sue for
you would sue.
$50, yeah. It's $150 after.
I don't know why, but I'm looking at you and I'm thinking you'd sue.
I mean, if he took my TV.
No. If he didn't pay you for the $150 balance, you would.
Yeah.
Okay, what if it's 1,000?
Maybe.
5,000?
Probably, yeah.
10,000?
Oh, yes.
Okay, there you go. Okay, going inside the courtroom.
When did you sell her the TV? In July of 2015, and here in August 15th, he's saying, what's up? It's going on 2 weeks. I'm feeling some type of way. Hit me back up ASAP. I don't want to start getting upset, but I'm feeling like you're trying to play me. For real, hit me up. Mm-hmm. To which you answer, you always feeling like someone trying to play you. What's SMH? I can't remember.
Shake my head.
Shake my head. Okay, that's right. I always get that one wrong. You always feeling like somebody trying to play. If it's not in my kids' text, I don't know. I haven't looked it up. You always feeling like somebody trying to play you. I got you, Brett. I I got your bread. I just got to find a way to come bring it to you. I'm not in Harlem. You be doing the most for no reason. I'm going to fall back, though. People always let nonsense up a good friendship.
Absolutely.
Yeah, well, you're the one who did it.
No, I didn't.
Doris, can I ask you something, please? You're supposed to be my friend, but I see I really have no one, so I'm going to keep it that way. My plan is to die alone anyway. That's you.
Yep.
Wow,
absolutely.
you are very...
Absolutely. I don't trust nobody.
What's Defiance Sparking a Flame?
Defiance is my name, and Sparking a Flame is my movement that he was supposed to be a part of. It's a movement. It's basically a promotional movement that I have. I host ciphers, I host events, I do charity events. It's a lot of things that I do.
But when you say movement, is it a charity or something? Or
no, it's just I just call it a movement because it's just something that people follow. That's all.
Okay. So here are the texts. You explained to him the problems you're getting into because your management company was suing you for $2,000, but you're saying it's over now. I'm going out of my mind. I just want this movement to go smoothly. I'll explain this to you. I miss you, blah, blah, blah. It's now September. His answer to you is, okay, I hope so. Not, oh, all right, you don't have to pay me anything. And then you text him, recording session, time to work, and you say to him, I'm going to bring you $1. I'm going to give you another $1 Friday. Cool? 200. So, and he says it's cool. And you say instead of 150, an extra 50 for making you wait.
Right.
Good, looks good.
But it was never 400.
I got a foggy memory.
I
say that again.
Myself.
My guess is not over there.
I got you.
Guess not.
I got you. When was the last time you two saw each other?
It's been a while. It's been a while.
You guys known each other for how long? You were such good friends, and this
10 years.
garbage came in between the two of you?
I mean,
it's your fault. It's not his fault.
No, it's not.
It's totally your fault.
No, it's not. He could have tried one last time to reach out to me. He didn't do
How
that.
many times a man got to reach out to you? Why don't you just do what you... No, it doesn't matter. Why don't you just do what you got to do?
No, I did. He told me don't worry about it.
Have some self-respect.
I have self-respect. He told me don't worry about it. I didn't worry about it.
You owe the guy $150. You're the one who let the friendship get ruined. You're the one who let the friendship get ruined.
No,
yes,
I
you
did
did.
not.
You
he
owe it.
told me don't worry.
You owe it.
Listen, I'm not
and
going to
then
say
you
nothing
still
else. You're absolutely
don't.
right.
As entertaining as you may be, you're crazy.
You're right. I know.
You're crazy.
I'm not crazy.
All right. No, crazy is what you are. All right. You're lucky I don't read your text out loud here.
I hear that a lot.
I know. Okay. Which is, I guess, what you find entertaining about her. But she also kind of abused of your friendship by making you take her to court. You did. You did.
And I cannot agree with
that. Say it again. Stop talking. Stop talking. He wants to say something. Go ahead. Go ahead.
All I'm saying is that I gave her enough time, you know, and you know, she does very well for herself. You know, I shouldn't have to go out and be this way towards her, you know. And she was a good person. She still is a good person. And it's nothing. It's not about it. It's just the fact that I felt some type of way that you was doing that. And why couldn't you provide me what you were supposed to, you know?
You could have came and got it.
Oh, stop.
Why didn't you
not
get
his
it?
job
What
to
you
come
mean
and get
stop?
it.
I told him to come get it. Did I not tell you to come get it? I'm lying about that too?
It's not his job to come
I
and
did
get
come and you
the money.
nobody
When
answered
you
the door.
came?
I told you that day I came to your house.
You are a liar.
And I knocked on
You
the
lied
door.
about it being $400. You're a liar.
Stop.
I didn't
You can
bring
talk
it
about
to
this
you.
outside.
Anyway, she's ready to roll. Excuse me.
Yeah. Okay. The original agreement was for $350. That's what I'm going to order. The additional $150.
Right.
That's my verdict. You guys want to talk in the hallway? Talk in the hallway. All you want.
Absolutely not. You a liar? Why would you do that?
So the plaintiff prevails. He gets $350. He gets $150. Bottom line is, I'm really more interested in that. The judge just called you crazy. Not just crazy, but crazy. How about that?
A little bit of nuts. That's
a little bit of nuts. Look, he's been your producer, right? Is he still your producer?
Absolutely not.
No. How's your career?
I mean, it's moving.
It is?
Yeah.
Up or down?
Up.
Good. Okay. Officer McIntosh has some documents for you to sign. So you're no longer her producer? It's over?
It's over. Everything's over.
I guess you're not friends anymore either?
None of that. None of that.
So that's a shame. Anyway, you may still be able to talk to her outside.
I mean, that's up to her.
Okay. Well, good luck. Go try.
All right.
She's waiting out there,
you.
okay? All right.
Okay, Doug, this case is such a good example of how to avoid going to court, how simple it would be, over $150. And that will do it for this case. Litigants for the next case on the way into the courtroom right now.
Summer's here, and you can now get almost anything you need for your sunny days delivered with Uber Eats. What do we mean by almost? Well, you can't get a well-groomed lawn delivered, but you can get a chicken parmesan delivered. A cabana? That's a no. But a banana? That's a yes. A nice tan? Sorry, nope. But a box fan? Happily, yes. A day of sunshine? No. A box of fine wines? Yes. Uber Eats can definitely get you that. Get almost anything delivered with Uber Eats. Order now. Alcohol in select markets. Product availability may vary by region. See app for details.
Hilton brings you new ways to stay, with experiences that let you capture the glory days. Introducing the Graduate Hotels. Each inspired by local college towns, these stays are always original and never boring. Get in touch with traditions all across the country and enjoy a stay that's a class above the rest. Book at Graduate Hotels with Hilton Honors Points at Hilton.com. It's a win-win. Hilton, for the stay.
This is the plaintiff, Elise Thomas. She says the defendant was a roommate, and let's just say things didn't work out too well with their living arrangement. The defendant's a stubborn guy who thinks he can just go around doing whatever he wants without any consequences. Bottom line, he still owes her money for utilities, and she's here suing him for every penny of the $651.75 he owes her. This is the defendant, Demon Brian. He says the plaintiff says one thing, and the next thing she does another. He couldn't keep up with her flip-flopping personality, so they parted ways. Simply put, the plaintiff conjured up this lawsuit because he doesn't owe her or anyone any money, and he thinks the judge will agree. He's accused of running out on a roommate.
All parties, please raise your right hands.
Welcome back to the People's Court. Next case in the docket, these litigants were roommates and the defendant skipped out without paying his share. But the defendant says she's a flip-flopper who's dead wrong. It's the case of they call her Flipper.
Thank you, Douglas. Elise Thomas,
Yes,
you are
ma'am.
suing your former roommate, Damon Bryant,
Yes, ma'am.
for $651.75. You say he owes you for leaving you high and dry with rent and bills. Okay, talk to me.
So Mr. Bryant took over a lease for a previous roommate. He did sign the lease agreement stating that we would satisfy the balance on the lease and 30 days from the date we submitted the notice.
Okay.
The notice was submitted.
Back up. Let me see the lease that he signed. Do you have a copy of it?
I do.
Okay.
I have this part.
Now that has his signature on it?
It does.
I want the entire lease, not a part of the lease.
There's actually two documents, the lease agreement and then the form that he submitted taking over the
Got
lease
it.
from my previous roommate.
So this is the original lease agreement, and then this is his adoption of
correct.
the other fellows. Okay. All right. So go on. He moves in when?
The date is February. Yeah, that's correct.
Okay, so your lease was going from October 14th to October of 15. He moves in February of 15.
No, this was actually a 10-month lease.
Oh, so it was supposed to end in July, right?
No,
What?
August 3rd was
August-
the date of the original lease.
August 3rd.
Correct.
All right. And so what happens?
So we submitted a notice that we were not going to renew our lease.
When did you do that?
That was on July 11th.
Okay. What happened before that? Had you not talked about it with him?
Yes, we did converse about it. The original decision was we were going to renew the lease. And then we started looking at other options at different properties. And then ultimately, he decided that he didn't want to renew with me.
Okay.
In the meantime, I decided I was going to transfer to a sister property to a one-bedroom.
Okay. And did you?
Yes, I did.
Okay. And when did you do that?
August 9th,
So when did he move out?
July 29th.
All right. And you feel that he has to pay August why?
Because it specifically states in the lease, 30 days from the date that you submit your notice, you're responsible for paying.
Let me see where it says that, because that wasn't how I read it, and so I want to see what you're referring to. Why don't you tell me your version of what's going on?
Your Honor, we had talked about, our lease was up. She had sent me text, I have a text, that everything has been taken care of on her end. So I went into the rental office, turned in my 30-day notice. They gave
When
me,
did you turn in your 30-day notice?
it was June 22nd.
What evidence do you have that you did that?
I have the paper from the rental office where I signed off notice to intent.
Let me see that.
There's the lease.
Okay.
Thank you, sir. You're welcome. Thank you.
This is what, a copy?
A copy.
Okay. And according to you, you left that with them
June 22nd. More than 30-day notice.
Okay, and your proof of that is the text where she's telling you in June, I did my part, I told them I was moving to a one-bedroom or whatever.
Right.
Can I see that?
The text, yes, ma'am.
Okay, and while you're looking for that, early termination.
And if you just scroll up and down, that'll show the text back and forth with her where we were all on agreement for everybody to be out of the building, out of the apartment by August 3rd.
Okay, but hold on one second. You're showing me the clause on early termination because apparently this landlord allows you folks to break a lease if you give 30 days notice. Early termination is different from expiration. The expiration of this lease was on what date?
August 3rd.
No. You don't have to give any notice when it's just expiring. Your contractual obligations are over if you just let it live out.
So what happens is if you don't submit notice to the office, you get charged at a month-to-month rate, which is significantly higher than what you're paying for your lease.
Right, but he did get out.
So the office
told
both of us.
You didn't get out because your place wasn't ready till the 12th.
No. The office told us both specifically that we both had to submit a notice where we both signed and dated and brought it to the office.
Right, but you knew he was getting out, right?
Yes.
Okay, so your option at that see, you have certain rights, but you also have obligations. Mm-hmm. Your right is only to live there until this lease expires, which was what day, August 3rd?
August 3rd, ma'am.
Right, that's your right. Only to live there till August 3rd. After that, you need to couch surf or stay at relatives or do something else. You did not do that. Your new place with them wasn't ready until the 12th, so you are asking him to pay the expenses from the 3rd through the 12th. But why should he have to do that when I'm telling you that you're legally misreading the lease. The lease is talking about early termination. You have to give 30 days notice. And we'll get into whether you gave the notice anyway. But you're saying he's got to give 30 days and he didn't because we both have to give it, not just him. But that's a tricky way of you getting him to pay your expenses in August.
On balance, better to live alone or with a roommate?
If you can afford it, live alone.
Live alone?
If you can afford it.
What do you say, a roommate or alone?
Alone. Definitely.
Really? Anybody think it's better to have a roommate? Really? Why?
Financially. It helps you.
Can I just explain one thing to you?
Yes.
The kid doesn't count as a roommate. I just want to let you know that.
Good.
Okay?
He doesn't pay any bills.
Exactly. Oh, you're going to get evicted, son.
Yes, you are.
Going inside the courtroom.
You don't deny that he went there on June 22nd to give notice?
I don't deny he gave notice. What date it was, I don't know.
Okay.
But
so he gave notice June 22nd. What you're saying is that since you opted to not give your notice till July, his notice was no good and he has to pay for the time that you were there alone.
No, that's not what I'm saying.
It is.
And she did give notice. She gave notice 3 different times if you check her text message.
It has to be written up. But in any event, let me see her text. Where'd that text go? So does that mean I can move out on August 3rd, or do I have to wait until August 22nd? And her answer is the lease is over August 3rd. Mm-hmm. Okay. All right. I'm moving to a 1-bedroom in a different apartment complex. See, if that 1-bedroom had been available August 3rd, we wouldn't be here.
Exactly.
I'm moving to a 1-bedroom in a different. If you tell the guy, no, the lease is over August 3rd, then how do you have the hubris to come to court and sue him for your expenses?
He still hasn't paid through the 3rd anyway, so.
Okay, and how has he not paid through the 3rd?
The rent check that he submitted covered July. Nothing that he paid.
How would you guys pay rent? Would you pay rent on the 1st?
You had until the 3rd, ma'am.
Well, no. That's a grace period.
Right.
That's not when rent is due.
So I pay.
But
it's due on the 1st.
When was rent due?
On the 1st.
So how is your lease until the 3rd?
Because it's all when you move in. You don't move in on the 1st every time.
Yeah, but then I know, but that's why you prorate the first month and then you start from the 1st. That's how it should be.
Correct.
When was your rent due? On the 3rd every month, or on the 1st?
On the 1st.
And then you see how that's goofy? Like,
yeah,
I don't know why they did it that way.
Yeah.
So did they prorate your first month?
They did. So
And
you're only paying for the days that you live there in that particular month that you moved in.
Okay, and what say you to that? That what she said repeatedly is the lease goes to August 3rd. The lease doesn't expire until August 3rd, and that you should therefore, I mean, listen, she's suing you for $1.98 for your portion of utilities fees from August 1st through the 12th, $2.91. So I'm going to have to divide those figures by 12, okay? Because, whatever. Apparently you didn't leave on very good terms. But what say you to that you have to pay for August 1st through August 3rd?
I have no problem with that.
Okay, that's fine. Oh, and you're also suing for attorney's fees because you paid somebody for a lawyer letter?
Yes, I did.
Yep. All right, now, where's the water bill you're suing for? $23 for a water bill. Can I have that?
Here's the...
She wants you to pay your half of a $3.95 utility.
I can do that, Your Honor. If communication was the key here, I don't even think we would be here today.
Oh, you think? Okay.
I have text messages indicating otherwise.
Yeah, just both of you stop. All right, attorney's fees are not compensable. I'm not going to order him to pay that. Prorated amount for refuse removal fee from 8/1 to 8/12. Okay, it's $15 per month. So we divide that by 30 days, and that gives us 5 cents. And then we'll multiply that by 3 days, and that's $1.50. You're going to owe her $1.50 for that. All right. Our next issue is, let's take that $3.95, and then we divide it by 30 days, and we multiply it by 3 days in August. Ooh, that's another 39 cents. Okay. The water bill is covering a period of time that you were there, so I'm going to order you to pay the $23.12 for the water bill. And the rent, you're suing for 12 days of rent. You're not going to get that, but I guess technically you should be paying 3 days of rent because you paid until the end of July. And technically speaking, if everybody had moved out on August 3rd, you would be paying August 1, 2, 3. So when I add all these figures up, it's a judgment in favor of the plaintiff in the amount of $112.58. Good luck, folks.
Can I have my phone back, ma'am?
Yes, you can.
Thank you.
I don't want it.
Have a good one.
So after a lot of accounting, the plaintiff prevails for a little over $100. Mr. Bryant, the real key is what happened in the relationship?
This people being bossy and trying to, it's your way or my way, and I wasn't having that. You know, I'm a laid-back person. I did everything. I wasn't in breach of contract, so.
So it didn't last very long then, did it?
No, but it was okay. You live and learn, right?
It was good while it lasted.
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you very much. Has some documents you must sign. Come on out now. How do you feel about it? You were suing for a lot more. You got a little over $100. You okay?
Not really. When you're, 46 years old and you're trying to dodge responsibilities, it says a lot for your character. And obviously he was trying to get out of this, but.
Well, the judge went over the documents very carefully, as you know.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and
what about the relationship? What happened?
Just, I'm a get it done type of person, and the laid back attitude doesn't work for me when you've got responsibilities to take care of.
So it just didn't work.
Yeah, it didn't work out.
Sorry. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
You must sign some documents. Harvey, what do you think?
I'm going to give you advice that I know most of you are going to violate, and that is that if you're moving in with somebody, the two of you should sit down at a table and hash out in writing the specific obligations of everybody. That will do it for this case. Litigants for the next case on the way into the courtroom right now.
Is anyone out there?
Another salesperson enduring the endless search. Exhausting. If you want to get right to the right conversations, you need LinkedIn Sales Navigator. Whether you're looking for new leads or strengthening existing relationships at your top accounts, get right to the right conversations with LinkedIn Sales Navigator. Try LinkedIn Sales Navigator now with a free 60-day trial at linkedin.com/trial. That's linkedin.com/trial.
Terms and conditions apply!
This is the plaintiff, Maddie Laney. She says she hired the defendant to build her a new deck, gave him a deposit, and the guy took off with her money. He never returned her calls, never did any work, and somehow thinks he can get away with stealing her money? He doesn't know who he's messing with, because she's not the lazy type who's going to let him get away with ripping her off the way he's trying. She's suing for $1,500, the amount of the deposit. This is the defendant, Terry Melendrez. He says he told the plaintiff it was going to take about a week to submit the drawings and get a permit for the deck from her town. But the lady got cold feet or something and called him a few days later saying she changed her mind and wanted her money back. He put a lot of work into the planning of this deck, lost his online home advisor contract because the plaintiff complained and lied to them, and he's not giving her back any money, that's for sure. He's accused of decking a customer.
All parties, please raise your right hands.
Welcome back to the People's Court. Next case on the docket. The plaintiff hired the defendant to build her a deck. She gave him some money, but no deck, and he ain't returning the money. The defendant says he did the work and got the permits, and she just changed her mind. It's the case of what a deck.
Thank you, Douglas.
Welcome in.
Maddie Laney?
Yes.
You are suing Terry Melendrez
Yes.
and TNT Custom Creations. You're the owner?
Yes,
All
I
right,
am.
for $1,500 that you gave him in order to build a deck that, according to you, he didn't build. Tell me what happened.
That's right. He came by my house April the 24th. I got his ad from Home Advisors. We talked. Everything seemed to be fine. We agreed that he could build a deck. He looked at the area. And
what kind of deck was this going to be?
This was going to be a small 11 by 11, approximately.
Just a square?
But also we was
No,
going to
was
have
it more than a square?
Yes.
What else did it have?
There was a few things on that was added that were going to be added onto it, like a plant table, and she wanted a backing for it, like a fence behind it to kind of block her neighbors from seeing her.
All right, and so what happens? You agree on a price, and what was the price?
$3,500.
Do you have a contract?
Yes.
May I see the contract? And what happens? This is signed, and you give him the deposit on April 30th?
Yes.
Okay, and then what happens? And the deposit was in the amount of $1,500?
Yes, it was.
And what happens?
We agreed that I would go to pick up the permit after talking it over.
Okay.
I went to the township on 427. I picked up...
427 is before the contract's signed. The contract is dated April 30th.
Yes, this was before.
Oh, okay.
So the township says to me, this paperwork need to go to the contractor so he can sign off. There's a portion for him to sign off and to attach the plan.
Okay.
And I said to him that I wanted this deck built as soon as possible. On the 30th is when he came by.
Okay.
That's with the contract. He didn't pick up the paperwork until May the 6th.
What do you mean you didn't pick up the paperwork?
For the permit and the plot.
And you didn't hand it to him because you're the one who went to the city to get it.
Yeah, I know, but I thought he had it till he was gone because it was right there on the table where we were sitting.
And he would know that how if you don't hand it to him and give it to him?
Well, somehow it didn't.
Did he forget it, or did
he? Well, he did tell me I forgot the paperwork.
Okay.
And he did. He picked.
So then he comes back to your house on what date to pick it up?
He picked it up on May the 6th.
May the 6th. Okay.
May the 6th.
All right.
But I needed him to pick it up before then, because I wanted to get this project underway.
All right. That's 6 days after you were with him, and both of you forgot for him to take the paperwork. Okay.
Right. After he picked up the paperwork, I called him and I wanted to know, had he presented it to the city? But the first day I called him, I got...
what day were you calling him?
About 3 days after he had picked up the paperwork.
Go ahead.
I got the message, mailbox full. I did that for 3 days straight, and I got the same message. So I'm getting upset. I don't know what to do, I'm panicking, and I'm losing trust because I did have trust in him in the beginning.
And you lost it because he didn't check his mailbox in 3 days? Have you met a lot of contractors?
No, I haven't. I haven't met a lot of contractors.
Okay.
And I said, I need my money back. I don't want to go any further, really.
Oh, so you told him, that's it, I haven't been able to reach you in 3 days, so we're done?
Yes,
Okay.
I had lost trust.
All right. Tell me what happened.
This is what happened. I met with Maddie the 24th, and then We spoke about the deck, we spoke about design, we spoke about what she wanted to do. And then when I came back the second time, which was on the 29th.
And you quote her $3,500, she signs a contract. You don't take this with you. She says she didn't give it to you, but it was on the table. She thought you took it. You didn't take it. Bottom line is, contract signed on the 30th, and when do you come back to get this?
I came back maybe a day later or 2 days later.
To get it?
To get it. It was
because
in the door.
Because she said you forgot it. Okay.
Yes,
And
it was
then
in
it's
the
on
door.
her?
I picked it up. I then left, and then we had conversations back and forth on the phone and as well with text.
And tell me about that.
There was probably 3 days that went by, but I just started this, working for this home advisor, and they said that,
Now, Home Advisor is a website where people who want to get contractors can get contractors?
Yes,
Okay.
and I have to pay for the service, and so every time that I get a lead, like every time I go see someone, I have to pay for that, so that's what I did.
Even if you don't get the job?
Even if I don't get the job.
So tell me what happens. You sign the contract on the 30th.
So I signed.
You pick up this paper a few days later, and then what happens?
Okay, so she doesn't hear back from him for 3 days. I'm going to you. 3 days. Does she have a right to cancel and get her money back after 3 days?
Yeah, she does, because she's paying for something to be done, and if it's not done, like, whenever she wants it, like...
You're nodding.
I agree with her.
You agree? What do you say?
I agree also.
Why do you agree? I'm going to put you on the spot. Why? Oh my God.
So she gets her money back, that's why.
Okay, well, that's a good reason. Okay, going inside the courtroom.
She wanted to get it done like right away, and I said, I don't know how long it's going to take for the permit. I didn't get a chance to get to the permit to go to turn in the permit, but at that time, it was already like 3 to 4 days later, and then she was already upset, and she was already telling me that, I don't want you to do my job because you haven't been over there to take care of this.
In 3 days.
In 3 days, 4 days, which to me, I mean, I've been with these guys. I was doing their jobs, and I've already had like 4 other jobs that I was completing from Home Advisor.
Was it ever discussed, like, when you would be able to get the permit and when, like, the timing of this, was that ever discussed with her?
The only problem with the permit and stuff like that was with the Jersey Shore, with everything that was happening. I didn't know that it was going to take a day. It could have taken a day. It could have taken 3 weeks. It could have taken a month to get the permit. So, but she wasn't at that point. She didn't want to wait that long. She wanted to get it done
It's not
now.
a matter of how long the permit's taking. Her impatience was that you hadn't gone immediately from her house straight to get the
Understandable,
permit.
yes, I did not.
But so she tells you you say 3 to 4. She says 3 days that you're fired. Basically, you're done.
Yes.
I don't want to work with you. And what do?
I call her up. We try to. I call her up and I ask her. I said, well, what can we do? Can we work this out? And she's like, no, I just want my money back. And she said, because you didn't draw a print, you didn't do any of this, and which I did. But I just didn't, I was never able to go to her house and say, listen, here's your permit, here's the drawing, here's everything that I did.
Can I see the drawing? Or is that what's on the contract?
No, I have a drawing. Hold on.
Okay. Deck. Okay, and this is all that would be required by the town in order to get the permit?
Yes.
Okay. All right, so did you tell her? I already did the drawings
Yes,
and
I
we're
did.
ready and
Yes, I
calm
did.
down. It doesn't happen this fast.
Yes,
and
I did. We tried to work it. I tried to work it out with her. She called back a couple times.
Did you tell her I'll go get the permit tomorrow? Like, did you give her a date by which you would go get the permit? Were you busy doing other jobs?
I was doing other jobs,
Okay,
and she
did you-
knew that. She
Once
knew that
you
I
make
was.
contact with her and you realize how much in a hurry she specifically is for you to actually go, did you say to her, okay, I'll bring it over there tomorrow or 2 days from now or next
She
Tuesday?
wouldn't. She wouldn't take.
Didn't. She just wanted her money back and she couldn't reach you in 3 days.
That's it.
You were on Home Advisor, and what ends up happening?
What do you mean? I mean,
With Home
how do
Advisor.
you do it?
Did she complain to them?
She did. I lost that account because of this.
What did you say to Home Advisors?
I told them that he was dragging his feet on going to pick.
Do you know
get
3
the
days is
permit.
not dragging their feet? I mean, you have to, I realize you want it done yesterday, but you know that the person you're hiring was already, he didn't start today doing his job. He was hired by other people before you yesterday and the day before that and the day before that and the day before that. If you demand that a permit be obtained in the next 72 hours, you better put that in a contract. You better put in there time is of the essence, and that permit needs to be obtained in the next 72 hours or 100 and something hours or whatever else you're demanding. 3 days is not an unreasonable amount of time. If it had been 30 days, I understand you, man, he's not even taking the first step. We know the city's gonna take their time, so gosh, at least take the first step. But you are literally talking about the reason that you canceled with him is because in 3 days his message machine was full. I think that's terrible, by the way, when people have the message machine full. But I know a lot of people roll that way when they're busy. So really, like, other than saying, hey, I've been trying to reach you for 3 days, maybe, that's not soon enough for you to be saying, that's it, you've breached the contract. 3 days? There's nothing in your contract about when he was going to drop it off. I agree, it needs to be within a reasonable amount of time. Just you and I disagree on what's reasonable. 3 days is not a long time for you to all of a sudden turn around and want to rip up a contract. And that's unfortunate because you already paid $1,500 on the contract. And if you breach the contract, I have to determine how much of this contract is his profit. He should be able to get his profit. And not only that, but you ended up costing him being able to advertise on Home Advisors. And I feel bad for you, Ms. Laney, but you were very impatient. And 3 days is not sufficient to authorize you to go ahead and cancel and rip up a contract, a binding legal contract that you entered into. I am not going to order the defendant to return the deposit. I believe he earned the deposit between the drawings and multiple visits, and he has a right to be able to depend on a contract and that he's going to make the profit from that contract that you have no right to cancel. Verdict for the defendant.
Thank you.
So, how about that? The defendant gets to keep the contract, and Ms. Laney, you have lost here in the People's Court. Sorry about that. What's your reaction?
I'm just glad it's over because it's been a year of just turmoil, and I'm glad it's over.
The judge thought you were a little impatient. Would you agree with that?
Well, I'll be more vigilant about who I pick to do work for me.
Okay, but again, do you think you were a little impatient? Maybe just a little bit?
Well, I tell you what, when you start getting messages saying mailbox full, phone disconnected, it's enough to you
Home
lose your
Advisors
trust.
couldn't even reach him.
Home Advisors couldn't get him either.
It was more than the 3 to 4 days. It was the fact that nobody could reach him after the contract. It was
Couldn't
more
speak
than
to him.
It was more than the 3 to 4 days, and he sent a text message stating that he would give her the money back, that the check was in the mail. So
Well,
he
we
lied.
never heard that in the case. You didn't get that out.
It should have been stated.
Yeah.
And,
All right.
no, and it should have been stated. Yeah.
All right. Well, hey, Mr. Melendez, what about that?
Your Honor.
I'm not Your Honor.
I'm sorry. I'm just a little nervous here.
That's okay. You didn't offer what she just said?
I offered that, I would give her something back if she, would be agreeable to, I did the drawing, I did some of my work. The
bottom line is when she sued you, you neglected to carry out that, right?
I did. Yes, I did.
Well, I guess you're satisfied, right?
I am satisfied.
Indeed. All right. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
You have some documents to sign back there, and that will conclude it. Harvey, what do you think?
Okay, Doug, well, look, there is no magic number of days that you have to wait before you can cancel. A lot of this just has to do with being reasonable. And my advice is emails are great because you have timestamps on them and you know exactly when you sent it. Don't just rely on a phone call because they'll deny getting it. Send them something, be it a text, be it an email, where they have an obligation to say they got it. And then if you send 3 or 4 of them over a period of time, like 3 or 4 days, seems to me that works. Better put the magic words in the contract. Time is of the essence.